So like it or not, and I understand if it's not, the look is a little bit different at the moment, and that's because it is Movember, and the Mo is well and truly on the go, just over halfway through Movember. So today I want to talk about Movember and how does that relate to our health, our personal goals, and also our business goals as well. Hello, happy Tuesday. This is Darren Roberts, Master Trainer at Impact Training Corporation and the Abundance Accelerant. Welcome to the Tuesday Tickle Tick, show number 69. Today, Movember Pain and Pleasure. So hopefully, as you know, Movember is all about raising funds and awareness for prevention and treatment of men's mental health, testicular cancer, and prostate cancer. So I'm growing the Mo, and also my son Robbo and I are running 60 kilometers for the month of November for the 60 men who take their lives every hour around the world. That's one every minute, which is crazy. And by the way, speaking of my son Robbo, it's his birthday today, so shout out to Robbo, happy birthday, mate. So with Movember, we need to understand the emotions around that and what they're trying to do. And of course, Movember comes from both sides. We know that emotions are 100% of decision making. Not logical information, emotions are 100% of decision making. So sometimes it's the emotion that you want to move towards, a positive emotion, a happy emotion. Now that's the majority of the time that people think about. It's the majority of time of what we want to have in a business practice, a sales best practice. But the other side of it is avoiding a pain. So we have two emotions, moving towards a pleasure and avoiding a negative emotion or avoiding a pain. Now, of course, Movember deal with both. If someone is having some mental issues or going through treatment for cancer, for instance, then part of that is to help with the treatment and the services to move them towards a pleasure. But very much the other side of it is the prevention, is moving away or avoiding a potential pain, i.e. what do we need to do when we don't have any symptoms to prevent getting those symptoms. So all of our decisions are a balance of our feelings we want to move towards and feelings we want to move away from. But from our health, from our personal goals, and from our business goals, which one is more effective to take action? Well, you've heard me say before that avoiding a pain is the greatest motivator of human behavior for a quick decision. Avoiding a pain is the greatest motivator of human behavior to take rapid action, fast action. And let me give you an example. My dad was a typical Aussie male born in the 1940s. Now, prevention of illness was not something that was necessarily taken seriously by that generation. You know, Dad would have laughed at meditation or mindfulness. He would never have gone to a nutritionist or a physiotherapist or a chiropractor. He would only go to the doctor if the challenge was strong enough that he'd battled through it long enough. Until 2003, when he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And he was given a period of time to live. And that avoidance of pain, the ramifications of the outcomes that occur from that situation was strong enough that instantly he changed. Instantly, he got every single piece of medical advice, treatment. He meditated, he went to nutritionists, he juiced his foods with the help of mum. He did everything possible to try and fix the problem and avoid that pain. Moving towards a pleasure or taking action prior to being sick to prevent sickness was not something that drove him to take action. But avoiding the pain once the cancer was diagnosed, then the change in motivation and action was significant. Now, unfortunately, it was too late. And a year later, he'd passed away. And what are the ramifications of that? Well, the ramifications of that is he only met one of his 4 grandchildren. He didn't get to enjoy retirement with my mum. He's not here today to celebrate his grandson's birthday. Now, if he knew those ramifications prior or had an awareness of them, would that have motivated him to prevent or to have preventative treatment and health and those sorts of things, which may have prevented him from getting cancer? Who knows? So the question to you is, what is your balance of your thought process? Are you just thinking about the positive stuff? Or are you thinking about, gee, what do I need to do now to prevent a negative action? So I want you to think about 3 different areas of your life. I want you to think about your health. You may have no symptoms of challenges, but the question to yourself is, what do I need to do today? What actions do I need to do today to prevent illness? Do I need to have a morning routine? Do I need to exercise on a regular basis? Do I need to improve my nutrition? Do I need to do some mindfulness or some meditation or whatever it might be to look after my mental health and prevent challenges? For your personal goals, yes, we think about goal setting, about where do I want to go, what outcomes do I want to achieve, what actions do I need to do to achieve that, but for a short period of time. Hear me strong, we don't want to dwell in these negative situations, but also to think, gee, if I don't take any action or if I'm delayed in action, because sometimes the feeling of moving towards a pleasure can delay action, it doesn't create quick decisions, but to think about, gee, with my personal goals, what if I don't take the action now and things are delayed? What do I need to do now? What action do I need to do now in my personal goals to prevent worst case scenario? From a business perspective, we often think about, where do I want to be? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to grow this business? How much do I want to earn? What lifestyle do I want? Which is great. That's what we should be thinking about most of the time, and what actions do we need to do to achieve that? But for a short period of time, we also need to know, gee, what is the worst case scenario that I want to avoid? And what action do I need to do right now and on a consistent basis to make sure I avoid that at all costs and to move towards a pleasure? So we need to be balancing that with avoidance of pain and moving towards a pleasure. Now that should be in your goal setting. It should be in your note taking, your journaling, avoiding pain and moving towards a pleasure. And it's also in your sales best practice with a consumer or a potential customer. So we need that balance. Yes, a lot of your solution-oriented discussion as a business owner or sales professional is about how we're going to get that client to move towards a pleasure. But if you really want them to make quick decisions, it's also about understanding what are the ramifications of not making decisions, or what are the ramifications of staying the same and not using your product and service. Now that can only be done if we're asking some questions to your potential customer before you start to show them your products and solutions. It's called qualification. It's over 80% of the success of your sales cycle, and 99.9% of it is positive and happy and outcomes solution oriented. But for a short period of time, if you really want less follow-up, if you really want your customer to feel like they've chosen to buy rather than being sold to, and if you want quick decisions, then for a short period of time, you need them to share with you what would be the ramifications of doing nothing, or what would be the ramifications of staying the same. Avoiding that negative, because that's going to help them make a decision quickly. And then of course, you can then be the rescuer and save them and talk about how you and your products and services are going to move them towards a pleasure. So I want you to think about, just for a short period of time, because avoiding pain is the greatest motivator of human behavior to make a quick decision, what are the negative outcomes you want to avoid at all costs, and what action do you need to do today and consistently to avoid that for your health, for your personal goals, for your business goals, and how to take a prospect to feeling like they've bought and doing it quickly. Feelings are 100% of decision making, and avoiding pain is the greatest motivator of human behavior to make a quick decision. So learn from Movember, learn from decision making, learn from my dad. And make sure that you're taking the action now to prevent the negative and move towards a pleasure. By the way, if you want to support me and Robbo in Movember, I'll put our link to our fundraising in below, and we'd love your support. You guys have a great Tuesday. We'll see you next time for the Tuesday Tickle and Tick.